Hello there, everyone. It's been a little while since you last heard from me. For those that can't remember, I'm Christopher Lee, JK Chimp195, and my crew slash, great community yourselves are the Chimpets. Now, today's news is a bit mixed in that the headline is I'm not going to be returning to streaming as soon as I would like. I had planned to do this in the turn of the year, in the start of 2025, as we are in currently November 2024. Now, if you've seen me before or spent some time with me on the show, you'll know that typically behind me, I was typically adorned with two beautiful shelves filled with lots of my favorite things and beautiful items that bring me much joy. For those that aren't watching or are unable to visualize that type of information, there are now lots of taped up cardboard boxes. This is because something a little bit wild has happened, but it's good. I can sort of, I suppose, officially sort of announce publicly for the first time that I've accepted a new job as a lecturer of psychology at the University of Brighton, UK, down at the south of the country. So this is a huge thing for me. It has its own sort of story, which I'll share nearer the time, because I'm going to be starting that role in the new year. I'm going to be moving from Liverpool down to the Brighton area, and it's a huge thing. It was a job that I could not turn down. I felt when I had the offer, and as such, I'm selling the house. I'm moving. We're going for it. We're gonna have a fresh start. Now, it goes without saying that this year has been a challenging one. I, with pains, have watched my other sort of update, videos, and a lot has transpired since then and throughout this year. It started with some really challenging ableism in the workplace, and then leaving that workplace and being unemployed for several months as I tried to find new work, which I then, secured. And my long distance relationship broke down. Um, and a culmination of those things and this job offer led me to think, well, let's take a chance and let's do something new. I had planned to, as I say, return in the new year. My current podcast, Psyched to Be With You, is going to be sunsetting with a November and December episode and a new podcast, Psychology Discography, co-hosted by myself and the incredible Beth Thomas, was also due to launch in January, which has also been unfortunately delayed at present because moving house is stressful. But this is good news. I also wanted to take a moment to address that my mental health has been really, really good. I've been engaged in therapy for 2 months at the time of recording, and it was really, really valuable. It gave me a lot of space and ability to reflect and to work on myself. And part of that is being vulnerable. And I speak a lot about mental health on this channel, but I want to share a little bit of this with you now, in that one of the problems I had, particularly with that dip in mental health over the summer when I was particularly very low, and all the things like the breakup and things like this, they were difficult for me to process. And speaking with a professional, which I accessed through my university, was really, really useful. And it allowed me to understand that obviously I speak very frequently about grief on the channel, that in a weird way, that was a red herring for a lot of the trauma I had experienced as a child. Now, in sort of like official kind of terms, I'm going to call it, this is what is called an ACOA, or an adult child of an alcoholic. I've spoken about this before on the channel as well, in terms of my father's alcoholism, and I had not realized the profound impact this had had on me. And I've been working through that over these couple of months and really trying to unpack that with myself and allow myself to not just logically and almost scientifically approach how I feel, but to allow myself to feel how I feel. And it's very scary, but it's something that I believe is going to be really helpful to me going forward. For those Final Fantasy fans among you, you know, I'm very much framing this as my Dark Knight into Paladin era. For those familiar with Final Fantasy IV, there's going to be a lot less using my own HP for damage, and a lot more, you know, being supportive and focusing on healing both myself and others. And I feel like I'm back to my brilliant best. And because of that, you know, I'm taking things very cautiously. I'm not going to rush back into doing too many things and spinning too many plates at once. I do want to assure everyone that my PhD is continuing to plod along, obviously the chaos of the move as well. The zeitgeist of Final Fantasy VII is still going on really, really well. I'm very, very excited about this volume and for you all to read it when it is released. But this feels like a big moment for me. You know, new year, new me, new opportunities. And I can say with absolute certainty that regardless of what exactly happens, you know, in the specificity, that I feel for the first time in a long time genuinely very happy. It is, I say, slightly tongue in cheek that going and accessing some professional therapy and making sure I'm looking after myself with good eating habits, sleeping habits, and a bit of exercise has really, really elevated my mood. And I'm ever so grateful to yourselves, the community, but also everyone in my support network. I have tremendously amazing friends and family who have been just incredible with me on this journey, and I'm continuing to work hard to deliver my sort of absolute best going forward. And this is kind of a pivot. I planned to make this video a little bit sooner than I did, but what the world kind of had plans, and I'd like to share with you all a poem that I wrote that with the people that I've shared it with, you know, they've enjoyed it. So I'd like to share that with yourselves now. I'll ensure that the sort of written version is in the description of the video if you prefer to read it yourself. But this is Untitled Poem 74, because why not? There will be rough times, tough times, times that feel darker than the deepest pit. You'll want to give up, and there are times you'll have to. But remember to breathe. As the sun rises and sets, some days are longer than others, but all days end. If you're not here for the hard times, you won't be here for the good and the earth-shattering times. So stay. Limits are made to be broken. Love is meant to be shared. Life is meant to be lived. Forgive yourself the things that happened to you. They were not your fault. Try to repair the damage of the things done by you. To be responsible is to accept fault. To be forever rich is to share in all the joy. Celebrate those you love and love them openly. All we have is each other. Move mountains, part the sea, make the heavens tremble. True power is loving yourself. Point that love towards others and always lift them up. We're waiting on the good times now. Earth-shattering ones are going to come too. Be brave, be you, be here. As always, I want to thank you all for your support and everything that comes next. I'm really excited for this next step, and I hope you'll join me on it as I do a continually not great job at keeping you all in the loop. But, you know, I'll get back to you all as soon as I can, and it's going to be great. Thank you all for your time, and have a great rest of your time zone.